Black Out Loud Media Group. Welcome back to another episode of the Brown Sugar Cafe podcast, the place where poetry meets conversation. I'm your host, Terrence P. Elmore, and before we get into today's topic, make sure you hit that plus sign so you don't miss an episode. Also, please subscribe to my blog, thebrownssugarcafe.blog, and if you find any value in this episode or any other episodes, make sure you leave a heartfelt review. So with that being said, let's get to it. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode. I hope that you all are doing well. I hope that you all are having a good start to the year so far. We're in February, so I know a lot of you are sticking with your goals. We're going to speak positive. A lot of you are making things happen. Hopefully you checked out my episode so far. My last episode with Brittany Jones was a really good conversation. Today we have another special guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sure. My name is Ramon Ray, publisher of zoneofgenius.com, which is a website helping small businesses live life fulfilled. And I also am a motivational keynote speaker, event host. And my name is Ramon Ray. So Ramon Ray, and people can get to know me better at ramonray.com, but a motivational speaker, a publisher of zoneofgenius.com, a website helping small businesses grow. And I've started 5 companies, sold 3 companies, authored 5 books, graduate of the FBI Citizens Academy. But as I said, Terrence, it's great to be with you today. And really my passion and hope is helping small business owners grow and make a difference in the world.
Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. You have a long list of wonderful things, and you just scratched the surface of all the great things that you're doing. First, let's talk about those 5 books. How does it feel to be a 5-time published author?
Well, I felt great about it. And then one day I walked into a room of about 500 to 1,000 people, maybe about 750 people, like Terrence. I walked into the room and I thought I was hot stuff. I had traveled around the world. I spoke on big stages. And as you said, I have 5 books. I walked into that room. Many people had 7, 3, 15 books. So to answer your question, I'm honored that I've been able to write that many books. I probably have a few more books inside me, but I know there's a lot of my peers who've had more books. But I feel good, not so much about the number of books, but what I feel great is about the last book I wrote, Celebrity CEO, and the impact it's had in helping business owners build their personal brand. So that makes me feel special that I know that the books I've written have helped people, from the first book I wrote, which is first 2 books, Technology Solutions for Growing Businesses, to Technology Resources for Growing Businesses. And then more recently, a book about about Facebook advertising, and other things I've written. So feels pretty good.
Yeah. I asked that because I just published my 3rd book. And
congratulations. See what I mean?
Appreciate it. Thank you. And here you are with 5. It seems like whenever I talk to someone who's just getting started, they're wowed by me doing 3 books. And so That's why I wanted to ask you how you felt about doing 5, because I always tell people, if you have something in your heart, something that just is burning for you to write and for you to get out, the first step is just starting to write.
Yes.
And get it out.
What were your books about, Terrence?
Poetry books. My first book was Love Letters. My second book is The Essence of Love, and my 3rd book is Pain Is Not Our Only Paintbrush.
And is it on Amazon? Are they on Amazon?
Yeah, they're on Amazon. I always tell people to go to my website, thebrownssugarcafe.blog.
Brown Sugar Cafe, or just Brown Sugar?
The Brown Sugar Cafe.
Brownsugarcafe.blog. Go buy 3 copies of Terrence's book. If you buy a copy of his book and you tag me on social media, I will pick 1, 2, or 3 people, and I will send you for free a copy of my own book. If you're in the United States, I am paying $75 shipped to the UK or Jamaica, but you buy a copy of Terrence's book, and I will ship you a copy of mine.
Well, man, I appreciate it. Thank you, Ramon.
You're welcome.
This is why I wanted to have you on here, man. Your passion and enthusiasm towards people is something that I wanted to share with my listeners. I'm familiar with you. I'm familiar with the segments you've done in Breakfast with Champions. I'm familiar with your the Rundown with Ramon.
Come on now.
Speaking of that, how did you get started with the Rundown? What was the brainchild behind that?
Sure. I was producing quite a bit of content, as you kind of know, Terrence. You follow me a bit. So I've been producing kind of a lot of bit of content on a variety of platforms for a while now. And
Yeah.
Black Enterprise came to me and said, Ramon, could you do a show for us? And so I did a show for them. And that show was really more interviewing entrepreneurs. I morphed it to that. And then as I was doing the Rundown with Ramon, I started doing a live show, top 10 tips of the day. And guess who came to me? USA Today, and said, Ramon, can you come and do that for us? So I have Rundown with Ramon interviews on Black Enterprise, and I have Rundown with Ramon show on USA Today.
And see, here I am just watching them on Twitter. Well, it's called X now. And I didn't even know it was that broad, that wide open. So congratulations to you on that.
It's like that little girl, little boy, right? Taylor Swift or whoever, Beyonce singing them a song. They just Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Auntie B, Auntie T singing me a song. Then they got to the Super Bowl like, oh, wow. I'm honored, Terrence. I'm honored.
Yes. Speaking of X, I know that you've been a fan of Twitter like I have been myself. How do you feel with the new changes and now that it's X? Are you still as much of a fan as you were before?
I don't think they had to change the name, in my opinion, but it is what it is. I don't think it's neither here nor there. I think, it's a very niche platform, but it's still the only platform, Terrence, where, can I tell you a secret, by the way?
Yeah.
You can't tell nobody, though. It's just between
us.
Okay. During the Super Bowl, and again, I know we're recording this, so depending on how people are listening to it, but during the Super Bowl, I didn't watch the Super Bowl at all, but I was still able to comment about it via Twitter. So I saw the Kelsey or whatever the dude's name is. See, I don't even know. Push the coach. I saw people talking about Usher and all this stuff. My point being is that all that via Twitter. And when you're at especially big conferences, right, you can follow the hashtag. You can follow what's going on at the micro conference, Afro Tech, South by Southwest, many events that I go to and you may go to, big events, following the hashtag. So changes, sure. But I think it's still that micro blogging. There's still something to be said about micro blogging, quick burst of communication. Facebook is good, Instagram is good, but they're just different. A politician can get on Twitter and put 3 sentences, submit, know what I mean? And have a niche of followers and keep doing it. It's different. It's that water cooler chat that Facebook is just, the expectation on Facebook is it has to be a post. On X, you can just tweet.
That is interesting to hear because I saw your activity and I saw how you pulled from what was going on and made content. But to hear that you weren't actually watching the Super Bowl is a shock to me. Because
can I make it worse, Terrence?
Yeah, come on.
You really can't tell nobody about this one.
Okay.
This is really going to stay right here. I'm on a couch watching K-drama with my wife. You know K-drama? You heard of K-drama? Korean dramas? Oh, K-drama, J-drama, so there's a big marketplace of Asian dramas. Think of any U.S.
Oh, yeah.
I know US, you know what I'm talking about, yeah. So it's called K-drama. I was watching that on the couch, keeping up with the Super Bowl on Twitter, or now called X. That's the secret, Terrence. Now you know.
Wow. Wow. I have another podcast called Pass a Remote with my friend Charlie, and we were on Twitter for a very long time. We still are. And we were just kind of wondering, is the value still there? And you've helped sold that to me just now. I'm telling you, when I saw your post and the things you were saying and in the Facebook group, and I was like, man, Ramon is really tapped into what's going on.
He's a football aficionado.
Right.
Look at that clip he got. All from X. All.
Wow. Okay. That's hopeful. Okay. So when it comes to Twitter, I don't know how we got here, but have you felt like the community that you built before all the changes, have you lost or kind of maintained that?
For me, I've maintained it, meaning everybody's going to have their own journey. But what I find ironic is my count on Twitter has stayed at about 29,000 for years. It's not budged over 31,000. So I don't know why. I find that interesting. You'd think that at a certain inflection point, it would grow. It stayed there.
Yeah.
So, but I found it's the same. And for me, the audience I have there is tech nerds, like I'm presuming you and I, what they call digerati, those who we've been online for a while. So that's kind of my core audience. I have my analysts, my journalists, media. Is it a big platform? Nah, Facebook, Instagram, still my biggest ones. LinkedIn, hundreds of views. But Twitter still, since it's there, and Threads now, but since X is there, hey, it doesn't hurt me that much more time to post. Obviously, amazing people like Terrence are seeing it. So obviously it has value.
Wow. Okay. Speaking of community, I've noticed that you've mentioned a couple of platforms. I've noticed that you've mentioned events. It looks like you're always going to events. You just left one. What's the importance when it comes to networking and building community?
Yeah, it's everything. So let's put the context of I'm trying to build a sports water company, and people can't see what I'm holding up. I'm holding a simple, average black bottle. I wanted to make it as boring as I could. You know what I mean? As silly, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to build. I want to put context of why. Terrence, yes, you can do ads. Are you thirsty? Want to keep your water cool? Buy the black water bottle. Blah blah blah. Got it. You can do the ads, do the Facebook ads, but nothing beats. Terrence is a sports athlete, and he's looking for a cool water bottle to be with him on his ski trip. You see, I'm trying to get it now. It's kind of getting a little crazy here, but you know, I'm trying to get at. Nothing beats him seeing me at a conference and me saying, "Hey, Terrence, did you get the cool new water bottle? In fact, I'll sign it for you." So you kind of see where I'm going. Nothing still beats that in person. We take selfies together. He hears my story. One day I was going down the ski slopes. And Terrence, I didn't see it, but I looked behind me and there was a bear on skis too. And the bear was chasing me on skis faster and faster and faster. I pulled out the water bottle. I hit it on the top of the head and it ran away. And that's why I have the black water bottle company. And Terrence buys 50 of them for his company. You can't beat that, Terrence.
You can't. It's only one way to do that, and that's in person.
You know what I mean? So my point is, silly example, but that in-person shaking of the hand, giving the business card, having a cup of coffee, seeing the elevator, you and I have a relationship. You've seen me, and thank you, I've seen you, but we're talking. This is one thing, but Terrence, I guarantee we meet together, we have lunch together, have dinner together, meet with some friends over some hot chicken wings and, you know, pork fried rice or something. It'll deepen that relationship.
Yeah. Wow. And I've always noticed something about you, even in this interview. Whatever value you're bringing is to better someone. It's to uplift someone. Where did that come from? Was there something that happened growing up, something that happened in your past, or did you just have an aha moment where you realized that you needed to do your part to make people know they matter? I really realized that you've said that a lot. You know, make sure that someone knows they matter. Make sure that somebody knows that you care. Make sure that somebody knows that you love them. Make sure that somebody knows that you forgive them along that line. So where did that come from?
I really believe, Terrence, that some of the most miserable people are not people who've been abused. Not the one who has their house burned down. Not the one who stepped on a Lego block from their 2-year-old in the middle of the living room. It's the one who doesn't forgive. It's the one who's so bitter and angry inside because Terrence cut me in line 4 years ago at Aunt Betty's baked goods backyard outing. And I'm still angry at Terrence. Terrence don't even know, and I'm angry at him. So it's that person, Terrence, that won't let go, that won't forgive their daddy who was wrong, who was a drunkard. That won't forgive their mama who maybe didn't spend enough time. It's that person, Terrence, the one that won't forgive, that is the most miserable. And I'd like to know your thoughts of it too, as a fellow human. Yeah. So that's why I think I say that, Terrence. I can get down and dirty in the feeds. I can get down and dirty how to build a blog. I can get down and dirty how to self-publish your book, down and dirty in podcasting like you can. You know, I can get down and dirty in the tech side of business and how to build a business. But Terrence, at the end of the day, if I cannot forgive my neighbor, if I don't have the time to smile at the flight attendant going in the plane, if I can't look at the old lady picking up her bags and say, ma'am, can I help you a little bit? If I can't do that, what kind of life am I living on planet Earth? So that's why I'm the way I am.
Forgiveness is a very key component. I don't think enough people realize. It's like when you're unforgiving and you're holding grudges, you're holding on to something that the person probably doesn't even know, like you said, or forgot about. And I find a lot of times when it comes to disputes and conflicts and things where people are holding on to unforgiveness, a lot of the times it's just miscommunication or misinterpretation.
That's it, Terrence.
You know, especially like over text messaging, you can assume whatever tone, text messaging, email, you can assume whatever tone you want to assume. And you could have like a strain in your relationship or your acquaintanceship with a person or colleague or something like that. And reading a message from them via text, via email, could make you hear a voice that's not even there, can make you feel a tone that's not even there because you have some personal unforgiveness about a situation that may not even be related. So I 100% feel you on that. And forgiveness is so important. That's something that I was always taught growing up. Forgive people. You don't hold on to unforgiveness because you're doing yourself more damage. And then as I got older, I realized just hearing different things about people's health because they were holding on to stuff, people's lives. We can even get into blessings being held up because people are holding on to unforgiveness. So I'm with you 100% on that. Like, forgiveness is major, and it's not always easy. I'm not going to sit here and say that it is, but you have to learn how to forgive. And then forgiving someone doesn't always mean you necessarily automatically forget. But if it comes up, it shouldn't affect you the same way it did when it hurt you.
Yes. I love it. Absolutely. You're so true. And that sets you free. Being able to, another thing I say is I want to be the thermostat in the room to be able to change the temperature. My wife's like, Ramon, thermostats don't change the temperature as humans. I get it. I'm like, woman, follow me the example. Just follow along. But the thermometer for sure just kind of sits there and do changes. But the thermostat, metaphorically, right?
Right.
It changes the temperature. So that goes back to that I don't know your background, Terrence, but I'm sure it hasn't been a perfect road. I haven't either.
Right.
That doesn't mean we grew up poor or whatever, but most adults have had some hurt, even if it's minor. Something happened, bullied as a kid, something with their parents, and people have been more egregious issues. I have friends who've been bullied, abused by family, all kind of things.
Yeah.
But I find those people, David Goggins, many of us know that story, or others who are Oprah Winfrey. Those are famous stories, right?
Yeah.
Those people have found a way to overcome and conquer and dominate, and they're not special people. They just made a choice by God's grace to move forward and forgive. And that ability is for us all.
Wow. That's really good. I'm trying to figure out where to go from there. That was perfect.
Pause,
that was perfect. Yeah. Gotta sit there and soak that in. Entrepreneurship.
Yes, sir.
Which is a passion of yours. It speaks to who you are when it comes to helping other people, because you have to have a passion for people when it comes to being an entrepreneur and trying to bring together resources to help other entrepreneurs. You started 5 companies. And so was it 3?
3 of them. Yes, sir.
How did you start? And, not until recently, I didn't think about when people sold companies, how it just makes sense. Because when it comes to personal growth and growth with a company, if you don't see yourself, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you don't see yourself moving forward with that, or the vision has changed and you want to go on to something else, it makes sense to sell the company instead of just staying there and holding on. So first, what brought you into entrepreneurship? How did you start?
Yeah, and I will address the question until, but I want to just start with a short story. There's a story I'm making up, but a metaphor which will be very useful for you, Terrence. One day there was a little boy. I'm gonna give you the story again. Running from a bear. It was in the dark. The boy jumped off a cliff to escape from the bear and dove into a pool of water. Next day he went back to the same spot and realized he shouldn't have jumped. He was scared. If it would have been during the daytime, he would have got eaten by the bear because he wouldn't have jumped. But since he couldn't see how high it was, he just jumped. To me, that's been my journey of entrepreneurship. Not today after 5 companies, and I have about a few more things in my belt that I'll be building and growing. But my point is, I didn't start out knowing what I was doing, Terrence. I was just running. And I jumped as opportunity came, ducked as opportunity came. And only now, as I'm 51 years old and getting older, I see the daylight, I'm like, whoa, that's some pretty scary stuff. So that's what I see entrepreneurship as like. But I think the aspect of selling a business, it's not for everyone per se. Some have given pushback to maybe, what's her name? Carol's daughter, Lisa Price. There has been some pushback on the quote unquote black Twitter, whatever you call that. But, black folk she sold out, a white company bought it and all that, which I'm sure you understand. And no matter who's listening, white or black, it's not a racial thing. It's a thing that happens, right? In the black community, we've come so far to hold on to wealth, hold on to property. Now you're selling. But the thing about that, to address that, if I can go there, Terrence, is just understand, people. Me and Terrence can have our lemonade stand, and we can earn. Let me put something in modern terms that we can understand. We can earn $2 million a year from our lemonade stand, Terrence. That's some pretty good money, brother. $2 million a year, me and you, high-fiving each other. Probably can't buy a Rolls Royce with that, but we move, and we taking care of our grandmama, buying a house, $2 million a year, and that's okay. That's enough for retirement. But Terrence, ShopRite, Wawa, 7-Eleven, take your pick. Come and say, we'll give you $50 million for your. Terrence can hold on, but $50 million, Terrence, is generationally, astronomically life-changing. There is no comparison between 50 million and 2 million. End of story.
Yeah.
And did Terrence sell out? Or no? Did he sell and recoup a reward, an investment in that lemonade stand? Then what can Terrence do? Terrence can buy, and Ramon can buy 10 more lemonade stands. We can hire, instead of me and him working and getting Pookie and Ray Ray and Shaquana, no. We can hire 100 more people. Now we've built something the Rockefellers, Bloomberg, Trumps, take your pick, are doing. So does that make sense, Terrence? I was kind of a long-winded.
Yeah. No, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
You made me think about when Bob Johnson sold BET and the backlash he got for that. That story really made me think about that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at the grand scheme of things, that's what made sense.
Yeah. And especially if it's a big, and whether it's a big number or not, my company's, I haven't built companies that are over $1 million. I haven't done that. I'm not saying it's not my skill set. I'll do it next, probably with a partner coming up. I have one or two other things I'm building, but a couple $100,000 in sale, valuation millions, yes, but a couple $100,000 in revenue. Terrence, I'm happy, man. Me to sell it for multiple, I'm fine. I'm fine. Meaning it's not millions, but my next one or two will hopefully be that as I learn. But meaning just giving you, I'm answering a different question just about selling. Did you sell too soon, Ramon? Why did you sell? It's only this. Come on, man. If I invested $1 in this water bottle, somebody wants to give me $20 for it, man, that's, it's hard to imagine when you say $1, but I'll make it better. If I invested $50,000 in a blog and somebody wants to pay me $750,000 for it, please. Done. Yeah. Say no more.
That's a no-brainer.
Come on.
Have you ever had any regrets or any thoughts of, maybe I shouldn't have?
No.
And if so, that was my next question.
No. Sorry. Go ahead. I want to hear the if so. I'm sorry. It's easy because also I don't have a cry for spilled milk. Yeah. I wish I could do better. I think back at now, my kids, my wife, my family. Was I too hard on my kids? Should I have kissed them more? And they're living and fine. So I have the ability to continue on because they're living. But you know what I mean? Meaning those things I may do. Oh my God, I shouldn't have screamed at my wife. I got to go apologize. Thankfully, she's alive and we're married 30 years. But as far as business, Terrence, I'm just indexed. I let go quick. Somebody, buddy in my church was like, Ramon, you sold smarthustle.com. You don't regret that or you don't miss it? Nope. They wired me the money. Didn't think about it. Gone.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about Smart Hustle.
I mean,
and
guess what? And some of the team members I work with, we're still friends. So the relationships matter. The people matter. But the asset, I get it. It's your baby. You think about it. But I think after you've built a few businesses, Terrence, I think that not that you don't care about it, you're happy with it in that moment. But nah, it's an asset. It's an asset. It's an asset.
Yeah. I mean, people are more important. And all through this interview, I mean, I know that you're this way, but all through this interview, my listeners are hearing that the importance of people and the importance of people to your life. I mean,
that matters.
The things that matter is, like you said, was I too loud? Was I too harsh? You know, I have time to correct it.
That's right.
And now I can.
That's right.
I really appreciate that because I don't think, a lot of us do that enough to think about the things that we can change while we can change them.
That's right.
Because we've all had things that we might have, and going back to unforgiveness, some things that we should have possibly corrected, or it might have been not even unforgiveness, maybe some sort of pride. I didn't wrong them, they wronged me, so maybe they need to reach out to me first.
That's right.
But we all had those moments, and then unfortunately some of us have had those moments where we didn't get a chance to correct whatever happened. And so what you're saying really, really resonates with me, because we need to take time and kind of, I guess, a daily assessment.
Absolutely.
If not daily, weekly, something, but are we showing up to be the best versions of ourselves? And the way we're showing up, how is it affecting the people around us, whether it be family, friends, co-workers? Like, what are we doing to make the environment that we're in a better place, the spaces that we're in a better place, this world a better place?
Yes, you're right. No, and that's what we're here for, Terrence. Again, it takes some age and maturity to do that, right?
Yeah.
You look like you're not quite under 25, Terrence, if I had to guess. So, it takes a little bit of maturity. But Terrence, listen, we need to make money. No question on that. I'm just doing it for the good of the people. I get it, but let's stop. Unless you're Mother Teresa or somebody else, what, you get my point. So, but most of us, I need food and sustenance. And two, I don't want to just pay bills. I want to enjoy life. I want to do experiences. I want to eat some good food, premium food. Give me some ribs or whatever it is. And then three, I want to give to others. This is why we're on earth. I want to be able to give. I want to be able to bless Terrence. He can bless me. We can band together and bless somebody else, the poor you always have with you, who does not have Terrence. Because those people will be there. So if you can't wake up in the morning and think, how can I make the world a better place? Even if you are poor, by the way, you can still make the world a better place. Something's wrong.
This topic is very important to me, because I think that, a lot of the things and disagreements, like I said earlier, and just all the bickering and things, this could be settled if we are willing to have conversations with people.
That's right.
And especially people who don't necessarily think like us or agree with the things we agree with. I remember there was a time you could have a healthy debate with somebody and still be friends and talk afterwards. One of my favorite scenes from Lean On Me is when him and his friend, they were, in an argument, and he was telling them off. And then when he got done, he said, let's go get some lunch.
Come on now.
Like, I don't think we have those type of, some of us, there are some people we have those type of relationships with, but overall, I don't think that, people are necessarily doing that anymore. It's like nowadays, if you don't agree with something that somebody says or does, that automatically means you don't like them. And I was like, well, you could not have the same views as somebody and still like them and respect them.
That's right.
So I don't understand how people come to that conclusion. Like, it's people that you love dearly that do things that you don't approve of, but you don't lose your love for them. So why is it when it comes to having a conversation with a colleague or a friend, it's taken out of context and people are like, well, you're not agreeing with me. Okay, I feel like you should have people around you who don't necessarily agree with you and who could educate you on different things, because we don't know everything,
Right.
We know a lot about some things, we know a little about some things, but we don't know everything. And I think having people around you who have different viewpoints, who can give alternative perspective to things, is very important.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you're right. And I think it's short-minded, thin-skinned people who think that way. But I must also say, Terrence, I say that reverently and with grace.
Yeah.
We all have a different background. We all have a different journey. So, I'm careful, even as I point the finger and say, that ain't right, or you stupid, I also, in the same way, respect. I don't know this brother's journey. You get what I mean? I'm trying to do both. I can say, you a bully, you need to stop it, I'm gonna whoop you. I'm saying having some fun here, if you're a bully, but I understand, you know what? His daddy could have beat him when he was a child. So my point, it goes both ways. So but I think if we live that way more, I talked to 3 other gentlemen, and you may know some of them. In fact, you may want to have them on your podcast: Dr. Will Moreland, Dr. Delator McNeil, Tony Chapman. And we talk about the same thing. We have some deep discussions about a lot of things. And if we could only just know that Terrence may like, vanilla ice cream with strawberry cupcakes. I may not. I happen to like Mrs. Smith apple pie heated for 1 hour for 400 degrees in the oven, and then I get Haagen-Dazs ice cream, strawberry ice cream, put it on top immediately as it comes out of the oven. That's what I like, Terrence. Don't hate on me. That's me. And if we all did that, we can laugh here. But when it's politics and religion and debates, everybody has their way. As long as you're not harming somebody, you're a good person, the world can be a better place.
I agree. I mean, a healthy debate is all. I welcome healthy debates.
Yes.
I welcome alternatives to the way that I think and see things. I wish everybody would do that at least once or twice.
That's right.
And you learn something. I don't like when people only think that their opinions matter.
That's
and don't allow at least let the other person speak and maybe pause and think about what they're saying. And like you said earlier, their experiences could be very different from yours. But when you learn that, it's like, oh, okay, I understand now. I get why you see it this way.
Right.
Of course, you're going to see it different from me because my background is different. My experience is different. But now that I see why you think this way, I can respect you. We can respect each other. And we can move forward. We can learn things from each other.
That's right. That's right. And most things are from experiences, Terrence. There's a joke that goes, I don't know if it's true or not, but a white guy was adopted by a black family or in a mixed household. And he got to college. He was older, moved out of the house, and he would carry lotion with him. The white boy would, and rub his hands with lotion and lotion his hands. His white friends would say, dude, why? He said, my mama, that's what we all did. They're like, dude, how you grew up? Blah, blah, blah. And grew up. He said, boy, that's because you grew up in a black family. And those listening, I'm saying that in a fun way.
Yeah.
But you're darker skinned. You probably know, Terrence, you get ash on your skin and you lotion up.
Yeah.
So it's funny though, it's experiences. It's experience, not kind of white and black. That was his experience. And I'm sure the same thing would go a black boy raised in a Chinese household eating chopsticks. That's what his mama taught him. It's experience.
Yeah. What's the one thing about Ramon Ray that people may not know, but it's something that you want everybody to know?
I want everybody to know that I will never, ever, ever cheat you. I will lose money. I will eat last. I will suffer before I even have a hint of impropriety. You can ask anybody I've worked with, people I've hired from all over the world. Spotless by God's grace record. Spotless record. So that's one thing I'm not proud of, but since you asked, because I work with a lot of people from overseas, and it's amazing, Terrence, how many people have been abused. People who like, oh, I wasn't paid. They scammed me out. I did the work for a week. I edited their video, sent it to them. They didn't pay me. So that's one thing I'm happy about that, again, who's never worked with me doesn't know that. Since you asked, never will scam you. If something goes wrong, in fact, I will refund. I've done it, Terrence. I've refunded money that I've done. Again, you don't want to be a pushover, but I'm like, you know what? It's only 500, only 1,000, whatever that I can handle. So we can have peace. And since I learned I wasn't clear, take your money back. Thank you so much. And let's part ways. That's how I roll.
That's integrity. That's something else that everybody doesn't exhibit anymore.
Yeah.
When you do something like that, you really let people know, yet again, that they matter. I've seen situations where people were taken advantage of, and it might not have been known by the person who was over everything, but in that situation, my thought was, what you need to do is offer everybody back a refund if they bought tickets under false pretenses, and tell them they can still come to the event, something like that. But they didn't. And that showed a huge lack of integrity. And that was an opportunity to show people that the things that people were saying about them was actually false. But integrity just wasn't there. When it comes down to it, yes, money is important, but if you lose a couple of dollars and keep your integrity, that's so much more important.
That's right. Because it can always come back around.
How you treat people is always a commercial for your business.
Yeah.
That's powerful. How you out in public, how you talk to people is a commercial for your business. You never know who knows who. You never know whose path is going to cross. Like, for instance, my wife, she hand makes earrings from polymer clay.
Right.
She has an earring business, and one of my classmates saw that she was making earrings. She became a customer. They had an event at their church. She invited my wife, and I thought about that. If I was the type of person who was mean or didn't get along with people in high school, that was a connection that would never happen.
That's right.
So you never know who you're going to cross, whose path you're going to cross, who knows who. I mean, we live in a big world, but the world is really, really small. I mean, it's amazing to me, like over the past year, the people that I've come in contact with who knew somebody that I either went to school with or knew one of my family members, and I had no idea. But they all had good things to say about me because, I was taught that you treat people the way you want to be treated, and not so in a way that, you treat people exactly, everything that you want to be treated, but with the type of respect. And that's why it's important, I think, to get to know people. And of course, a lot of times you don't have enough time to get to know someone, but it's a key things you can pull out of a conversation when you first meet somebody, and you know how to, treat them with respect. So I've always been taught that, and I've always lived my life that way, to treat people with respect and kindness. So I really appreciate that. That integrity is something major. And I really appreciate that you're that type of person that, once again, back to what we talked about earlier, business wise, overall, it's like your life and who you are, your morals and principles and values, they show up in your business.
They have to, for sure. They have to, for sure. We are who we are, Terrence. I mean, there's big corporations. You don't know how the vice president of janitorial services is and by himself or herself compared to the billion-dollar company. But me and you, Terrence, we just the people, man. It's me. I'm sitting in my home office in the vacation capital of the world. It's me. How I am is my business, and how my business is me. 100%, brother.
Before I let you get out of here, I meant to ask you this earlier, but before I let you get out of here, what's your take on AI when it comes to being an important business tool, or do you even see it as an important business tool?
Sure. I think there are transformative jumps in technology, in business, and in personal communications. You had in modern days AOL, you've got mail. Many people harnessed that, right? And it got email for the first time, an email address, beckyscookies@aol.com. It's petered away, but email was a game changer, right? You had the fax machine, I think before or after that, I can't remember. The fax machine sounds old school technology, but that was transformative for those who had, your dad has a fax machine in his office? Ooh, right? So you have these jumps, you have the browser, you have blogs and websites. Now you have generative AI. It's a game changer. If you're not using AI, I don't think it means your business is over, but I promise you one thing. I guarantee it. You are less productive in your business than you could be, less smarter, less faster in your business than you could be, and there's a huge possibility that your competition who's using generative AI will trounce you. So how do you start? The simplest way, just get on ChatGPT. You can Google it, openai.something, open.a, whatever it is, you can look it up. Go to ChatGPT for free and just start to type in what's called prompts. Hey, I'm a baker in Minnesota. We bake 3 different types of pound cake. We're thinking of expanding our product line to college students. We have 20% Greek families, and a big portion of the families we're with are Hispanic. How would you expand that product line? I dare you. Put something like that in there and hit enter and watch, and then thank me and Terrence, and buy another copy of Terrence's book to thank him.
Wow. Okay. I think that's a pretty good place to stop right there.
Terrence is like, I may try that for my own business.
Yeah,
Let me speak.
Hey,
but that's how you do a prompt.
Like
that's how you do it.
The level of information you just put in that prompt just now, it's like, man, I'm missing some things in my prompt.
Right. You put much as you can, tell it who you are, and sit back and watch the fireworks roll.
How can somebody get in contact with you? How can they follow you? How can they, get the information? I mean, you have all sorts of, you're a man of many hats. How can somebody get in touch with you?
two things that would make me a happy man, Terrence. One, you can find me at ramonray.com, ramonray.com. If you're having a big event, want me to speak, want me to host your event, motivational keynote speaker, or MC it, hit me up, ramonray.com, and or go to zoneofgenius.com. We'll have a lot of pop-ups and ways to sign up. Sign up for our email newsletter. Once a week, we'll give you insight to grow your business at zoneofgenius.com. Remember, my special offer, you buy a copy of Terrence's book, hold a picture of it, tag me on IG, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Snapchat, fax machine, carrier pigeon, U.S. Postal Service, FedEx. Tag me however platform you want. Let me see that picture, and I will pick somebody to send you 1 or 2 or 3 copies of my book, Celebrity CEO. But you got to buy Terrence's first.
Thank you, Ramon. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate your time and this conversation and the information and the wealth of knowledge that you shared with my listeners. Got to have you back next season, see what else is new, because I know you're going to have some new things going on in a short amount of time. So we have a lot to talk about the next time you come on.
We do. Anytime, Terrence, call upon me, and thank you for the gift you are to the world. We need you, and we appreciate you, Terrence. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. And to my listeners, I always just remember, keep pushing forward. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Brown Sugar Cafe podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Terrence P. Elmore, and this is the place where poetry meets conversation. Hit that follow button and turn on your notifications so you won't miss an episode. Check out my blog, thebrownsugarcafe.blog. Also connect with me on Instagram at thebrownsugarcafe. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and as always, remember, keep pushing forward.